This is also about the polling that came out as well, and then we'll have a look at it a bit more closely into what it said today.
No mai, haere mai, mā loi lele, welcome to 3 News. The Finance Minister is tonight meeting with Fonterra's Chief Executive to discuss the nearly 50% surge in the price of butter. Nicola Willis today acknowledged Kiwis think the cost of living is too high, and the opposition agrees, with Labor accusing...
Let's remember as well, and I haven't put it on the soundboard yet, last night, Mr Luxon, remember the words? We own this now. Last night, Christopher Luxon said that they own where inflation is right now. They own the economy. He said it last night. I'm just reminding you of that because, you know, there might be a little bit of blame Labor in this. But last night, the Prime Minister said we own this now.
The government of failing to address the strain on households. Prime Minister Christopher Luxon hit back, saying, and I quote, "I'm not taking any lectures from frickin' Chris Hipkins or the Labor Party." Here's political correspondent Zane Small.
I think the price of butter is astronomical right now. I mean, this is just upsetting.
The Minister of Finance wants to know too.
I think Kiwis feel the cost of living is too high, and butter is a symptom of that.
So tonight she's meeting with the Chief...
And you're doing what about that? All those promises pre-election that you said you could do it better than Labor. Remember the pricing of food and stuff went down, 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 down under Labor, continued down under National, and then since 12 months ago it started going up again. That's yours. You own that upward inflection. So what are you doing about it?
Executive of Dairy Cooperative Fonterra for a Please Explain.
Miles Hurrell has the opportunity to talk through what goes into the price of a block of butter, and it's in his interests to do so.
He has talked about it though. This was a month ago.
Respectfully, the New Zealand element of that is very, very small. It's the international market that drives that in the New Zealand context.
And in a statement today, Fonterra reiterated that the biggest contributor is the globally traded price of dairy. If we look at what this means for a 500-gram block of butter, around 80% of the price is due to the global traded price.
I'm sorry. If I had 100 barrels of oil, and currently the traded price for oil was $100 and they cost me $20 to produce, I could still sell them for 50 if I wanted to, even if the international traded price was more. Why aren't they telling us what a block of butter costs to manufacture? Because that's actually all that matters, unless you are driving your sales by greed. We are investors in every farm in New Zealand. We are investors in Fonterra. We have added to a community and a society where these guys have flourished, and there's no shade, but we have paid for the schools that your kids go to, and the health system that your farm hands go to, and the tax take that you draw out of when you want to get back on your GST. We've contributed to your success. The global traded price is not something we care about. We care about what's the cost for 500 grams of butter. What does it cost you to manufacture? Because if it costs you $2 to manufacture, you can sell it for $5 and still be making a good whack of money. If it costs $4, you can sell it for $5. If it costs $1, you can sell it for $6. So to have this, you think this is an out, that because of the global traded price of dairy means you have to sell it for that. I'm sorry, I don't buy it.
If you were having that meeting with Fonterra, what would you say?
I'd say, what are the answers? What are the solutions to deal with this very real issue that New Zealanders are facing?
That very real issue, the rising cost of living, providing political ammunition today for the opposition after National campaigned on fixing it.
Food price inflation is out of control, and the government has no plan to fix it.
Butter is up almost 50%, tomatoes 33%, lettuce and broccoli 30%, steaks up 22%, and rates, insurance, electricity and other household costs continue to rise.
Well, I find it a little bit ironic being asked that question by that member, don't you think? Because it was his government that created out-of-control spending, tripled the debt 3 times.
They promised over 20...
Can you please clarify that? So you said taglines, out-of-control spending. So example. Just show us the receipts of what you're talking about rather than the headlines.
The man is pretending that COVID was a gas leak. Just has no recollection of what happened then, what was required, what his party supported the government at the time for doing. He's also completely lost his mind on the fact that international economics kicked in on a island trading nation.
The same international economics that they wouldn't allow the last guys to have any impact of. They remember they wouldn't let the international pressures of the last guys have any grace. So I'm sorry.
Economic trading pressures and issues that they're blaming for their poor domestic performance now. It's so fucking blatantly selective.
So here's
this
something
man
interesting.
Is a goober.
Something interesting from Nikki No Butter's meeting tonight. Sonia says, "Fuck Fonterra. We need to be able to buy Australian butter so they have competition." Interesting. Come on, capitalistic organisation, party of business. Let's have some competition when we open up our borders to butters and cheeses from other parts of the world. Wonder how that would go. Maybe Australians would be going, why could they buy butter cheaper in Dunedin than we can in Perth? Maybe.
See, I mean, the only way you'd find out is by trying it. I don't think it will work.
Maybe.
I don't think we had the market that would shift the needle on. I honestly think that this is something that the government need to come in and go, hey, you need to carve out fair pricing for the New Zealand market, because it's New Zealand that you grow this stuff in.
Yeah.
It's New Zealand that drives your high international demand because of our international image of being clean and green, even though we know that's all a lie. The marketing's still working. So you can get that high price. But if you don't, then the government changes. And we can't have that we fell out of Parliament because the forecourt steps were greased with $11 butter. We can't have it.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't. Maybe it isn't the answer. I don't know. But the idea that they can hide behind international traded price of dairy, when
such a bullshit answer.
The cows are in Waikato. The part of the dairy used to be in what was it, by Cambridge? They had a rugby team, Hotapu or something like that. And they probably make the butter and the cheese, or at least some of it. They start to produce it in Waikato where the cows are, and then it gets sold in Hamilton. That the international price of dairy shouldn't impact what it costs to produce and drive 20 k's down the road. We shouldn't be paying what it costs to produce and then fly 12,000 kilometres offshore or go by boat. You see the gap here? Like even that. So it's just greed. And if this government doesn't do something about it, maybe there'll be some other guys to give it a crack. I tell you what, the idea we've come up with here about some kind of price freeze, I wouldn't be surprised if one of the parties on the left picked that up, because it's good policy. It's good, and we're not saying no profits. We're just saying a return on the citizens' investment in your humongous company while you make 95% of your profits offshore anyway. That's what we're saying. All right, we'll keep going, eh?
Yep. It created out-of-control spending, tripled the debt 3 times.
They promised over 21,000.
They tripled the debt 3 times. That means it was times 3 times 3 times 3. Isn't that like 27 times the debt? I'd like to check his numbers, because I don't reckon that actually happened. They tripled the debt 3 times.
Families, that they'd be getting the maximum amount under the Family Boost childcare rebate. It turns out only 153 families have received that through the last year. I think it shows that they misjudged the Family Boost policy.
I'm not taking any lectures from frickin' Chris Hipkins or the Labor Party on not supporting low and mid.
What a dick. Like, what does he think? I mean, if we believe that these guys are quite finely tuned when it comes to their messaging, what little spotty, twatty ninth floor advisor has said, oh, you should just really be rough and hard and tough and like put him in his place? And that's what he said. Actually, you know what? It's so off kilter. You just look stupid. You look stupid.
He looks rattled. This is exactly what I thought the last time that he used that word. Because this is the second time he's come back to using the word frickin' like a fucking child. Just say the word. Just drop an F-bomb. Live a little, Luxon.
We'll have more
But
respect
yeah,
for him.
it's not. It's not becoming of a prime minister. It doesn't come across as someone that is moderate in their emotions. There's someone that is in control of what's going on and thinks that the criticism from the opposition leader can't touch him. This is someone that is reacting with irritation. And the fact that it's happened on a day where another shit poll has come out for him.
Yeah.
And, you know, certainly when we were speaking to Tanya, the feeling that there are cracks, big cracks in the coalition. This just sort of anchors that feeling for me, is that he doesn't feel like he's a guy in control. His middle managers, the people he trusts to be autonomous so he can just cruise a little bit, they're not doing a good job. And that means he's not doing a good job.
Yeah. No, all right.
Through the last year. I think it shows that they misjudged the family boost policy.
I'm not taking any lectures from frickin' Chris Hipkins or the Labour Party on not supporting low and middle income working New Zealanders.
The government has widened the eligibility for Family Boost, which provides tax refunds on the cost of early childhood education. And more than 60,000 households have received a payment, just not the full entitlement.
It is one thing to be unhappy about the cost of living. Actually, we all are. It's another thing to constructively be progressing ideas to address it. I'm not seeing that from Labour. I'm seeing shallow attack politics, which doesn't put bread on anyone's table.
But with the cost of living on the rise, the government may have a challenge to butter up voters ahead of next year's election.
Okay, we are anti-mums. We don't normally play the commentary afterwards, but the commentary afterwards, he talks a bit about the polling. So we will play it tonight, and then we'll go into the story about the polling.
And Zane, a new political poll suggests it'll be a tight race.
That's right. It's a new Talbot Mills poll provided to the Post, and it shows a majority think the country is on the wrong track. And what might be most worrying for the government is that 76% thought that the economy wasn't doing well. And while 38% believed the government deserved to be re-elected, 48% thought that it was time to give another party a go. Looking at the numbers, the
48%. That's bad.
Poll has Labour ahead at 30.
Sorry, Joe. Yep.
Let's say all the usual stuff about polling. Don't trust polls. Don't trust polls. You want to look at the trend over a series of polls. This is Labour's poll. All of that sort of stuff. So we're not betting the farm yet, but this is still showing that trend that people aren't happy.
Yeah, and that's what it's about.
35%, National at 32%, the Greens at 12%, ACT at 8%.
And what all these guys are doing is they're doing the numbers in their head. You know, 35 plus 12 is 47, plus 4 is 51, 32 plus 8 is 40, plus 7 is 47. But when it comes to those, I mean, that's an interesting trend if it is a trend. But the it's time to give another party a crack result is pretty devastating.
New Zealand First at 7% and Te Pāti Māori at 3.8%. Now, Deputy Prime Minister David Seymour, when we asked him about this today, said, and I quote, "It's the middle of winter, the economy is tough, and it's not that surprising that people are down on the government." But he said voters will judge the government a year from now on work that is currently underway, and he reckons there are better times to come.
I actually think that's a fair commentary from David Seymour.
I think it's and I hate it.
No, it's fair because I don't know. I hate using sports analogies all the time, but it's like the middle third of a game where a team sort of winds down and then they ramp up at the end to win the game. It's like the stuff they're putting in now will be judged in 12 months, and if the country likes it, country meaning people who have had head injuries like them, then that will be what they use to run into an election.
It's a big demographic
right now. Yeah, apparently
it's a big demographic in New Zealand, people with traumatic brain injuries.
And I'll show you the trends now. I had to open this up on another, so I'm using whatever the Windows. I don't like this at all, but it shows us the trend.
The other thing that I'd like to say is when David Seymour isn't being a showboating twat, yes, he can say things like this that is completely fair. And that lulls you into a false sense of security that he's actually a normal person, but he's not. Remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've had to use a horrible Windows-based system, whatever this is called, because the post only lets you look at a few articles per month. And because I'd already used up my number, then when the computer crashed, I went back into Chrome and I wasn't allowed to watch them, so I look at them. So all I wanted to really show you from here was that exact thing as the trend, Chewie. There's some trending. And if you actually look at it, you know, Labour's worst result has been 29% TVNZ, and that was in May. And since then, this is the polar polls. No, it's not. Sorry, it's not the polar polls. It's all polls, putting them at 35. But I mean, like, you can actually see that, you know, because the lines are pretty similar, all these different polls are saying similar things. That's pretty static, I guess. I mean, if you look a straight line across there, that's not that dissimilar for either of them. If anything, you'd probably say that National was down a little bit. You just put a line straight through there. It's Labour's pretty much. The Greens have gone from a high, and their trend is sort of flatlining it, start to improve. ACT is sort of flatlining it, starting to dip off. Te Pāti Māori certainly would be down a bit trend-wise. But, you know, it's interesting to see that the nation, via this polling, is saying we're not that happy with the direction of the country. That's pretty clearly what they're saying. I mean, like, this whole one-term government, don't buy into any of that stuff, but purely the direction of the country. And you got to say again, you know, normally a government wouldn't even touch the sides at the end of the first term. You know, at the end of the second, they're pretty assured 2 terms, and then it's, are they good enough to get a third? But to be genuinely asking, are they good enough to get a second? It speaks volumes as to who these guys are. So,
I mean, there's a couple of things that I would want to mention about this. Like, Luxon sort of going, I'm not frickin' taking lectures from frickin' Labour over frickin' frack. The fact was, Labour's policy of free ECE hours delivered more benefit to more families with less admin. It was running for years.
Yeah.
Whereas only 121 families have got what National were promising in the election. That's a staggering failure. So maybe you should be listening to a lecture from Chris Hipkins and Labour.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, you weigh those two programs.
Yeah.
Which one was giving more benefit to more families? Like, straight out of the gates. Fucking get out a pen and paper, Chris. Work it out. The other thing that I find absolutely staggering is how these people on their publicly funded salaries can sit there, stare down the barrel of a reporter or out of a camera and go, oh, we know things are tough out there. Oh, do you? On $300,000 plus a year. Do you know how tough it is? Chris, in the last 12 months, multi-million dollars of tax-free income from selling property. Do you know how tough it is for your average worker, somebody on a wage? Do you? Should be burned at the stake for trying to convince us that you know how tough it is for people out there. I work in a business where people get a monthly bill, and I have conversations about those monthly bills. I had a grown man on the verge of tears because he got an electricity bill that was bigger than he had planned for. Have you ever been in that situation, Luxon? Do you know what that feels like, Nicola Willis? Then don't fucking pretend.
And as Chewie identified last week, and I'm going to put this into I have a folder of regularly used pages. This will be there. Just want to say it again. Luxon said it last night about inflation. We own this. This is the Labour government, right? And obviously through COVID, you can't deny it's gone up. We can debate whether it went up because of external factors, Nicola, or whatever, or bad management. But we can see very, very easily there that trending down in the last quarter of Labour, continuing to trend down under the start of National, and then at the middle of last year, 12 months ago, you own this increase. So this is all you guys. So you need to stop this whole Labour, which hopefully you have, Luxon said you have, and go, actually, we're owning this. Because if this keeps going up, it won't be very long until you're at the heights of the other guys and you promise to do better. So
yeah, it's almost like they've owned, like, anybody could have told at the time of the election, at the time of change of government, that interest rates were going to come down, and we're starting to come down. So you can't just then like go take the easy win, right? It was always coming down, but that was definitely us because it happened when we were in government. Well, the reverse applies. It's going back up again, and that's all you. And why is it going up? It's because our rates are going up because Three Waters is there.
And that's all you.
It's gone, and councils are screwed because of it.
And that's all you.
Rents are not going down to the degree that you thought you were. You have loaded families up with more childcare and education costs and transport costs as well.
That's all you.
And then you've done absolutely nothing about the supermarket duopoly, and one of our biggest exporters and food producers. They're trying to go, oh, there's literally nothing we can do about the price of dairy. Like, we had the lads round and we were talking about it, and nobody had a single idea because people overseas pay more.
Yeah.
So how could we possibly do anything about the price here? Butter just has to be the same cost as it is in Japan, China, Canada, the other side of the fucking world. There's nothing. We've thought of nothing and we've done nothing, and because there's nothing to be done. But Nicola, who used to work here, is going to come and have a very substantial conversation with us. She goes, hey, I've been out of this for a few years and I forgot how butter works. Can you explain me how butter works?